Welcome back to The Real Dish. This is where we keep it real about food, wellness, and living your best, most nourished life. I'm Chef Maria, the Fit Foodie, and today we're diving into sometimes ridiculous and often confusing TikTok food myths, okay? I mean, there is not one time where I will scroll and see something that I'm not just shaking my head at. And we've all seen those 15-second videos that swear that one food or one hack will change your life, heal your gut, cure your skin, probably pay your bills. But seriously, what's the truth? Today, I am breaking down 10 of the most viral food myths like a master butcher and giving you the real dish on what's fact, fiction, and sometimes even dangerous. So let's dig into it. Myth number one, raw garlic on an empty stomach kills parasites and viruses. Now, let's get to the root of it. Garlic is super powerful, there's no doubt. It has antimicrobial properties. It is the basis of what a lot of our modern day antibiotics are built on. It's great for your heart, but eating it raw on an empty stomach, like it's some sort of snake oil, is a bit of a reach. And in fact, it can really bother your stomach and let's just say keep not just the vampires away. So here's the deal. Allicin, which is the active compound in garlic, is legit, especially when it's crushed and left to sit for 10 minutes, or I love to do a confit where I'll add the garlic into a squeeze bottle and add olive oil, and it gives it flavor and it infuses it, and you still get the benefit of the garlic, but without like the really overwhelming smell. But it's not going to wipe out every parasite or virus in your body. You need a little bit more than the garlic. So yes, it's a great thing to add to your food. And of course, the flavor is second to none. I add it to almost everything savory. But the myth that it, kills parasites and viruses on an empty stomach is a massive reach and a stinky one at that. So don't overdo it raw, but enjoy it for sure. Myth number two is, okay, this is my favorite one right now. Seed oils are toxic and should be avoided at all costs. Oh my gosh, this one has social media in a chokehold. So while ultra refined seed oils that are used in fast food and inflammatory, ultra processed snacks and packaged foods can contribute to inflammation, this idea of throwing all the seed oils out and that they're all toxic is just way, way, way out of bounds. And it's wrong. It's just flat out wrong. So we want to be careful of the overly processed oils like canola oil and soybean oil and corn oil. And a lot of the reason for that is because those crops are largely, if not almost always, unless they're certified organic, genetically modified. And when you've got highly genetically modified crops, you also have a lot of pesticide residue that could be on those crops. So the more genetically modified, the more antibiotic resistant, and the more pesticides that are being used. So in that case, yes, those can be really bad and super inflammatory, especially when they're heated. That's the real clincher right now. So when they're heated above a certain temperature, usually above 450, especially if an oil has a low smoking point, then it can be super inflammatory. I mean, even olive oil can be inflammatory if it's being used for frying at high heat when it's not supposed to. But otherwise, it's wonderful for you. So balance and understanding heat and where the source of your oil is from is really key here. The goal is to minimize processed foods. And certainly the goal is to use oil discretionally, a discretionary amount of oil where you're not overloading it because we don't need all that fat necessarily is important. But I would go out and say that like olive oil is a superfood. Avocado oil is good for you. Coconut oil, the MCTs in coconut oil are actually great for your digestion, and coconut is a superfood. So you can have some of those oils. I love sesame oil. Sesame oil is one of my favorite oils to use, has a high smoking point, and it's great in marinades and dressings and things like that. So have the seed oils, but know which ones to prioritize, and definitely prioritize cold pressed because they're not using a heat process or potentially, chemicals in the processing of the oil. And be careful around oils that are using that, ultra processed or GMO crop. That's what we want to avoid. So let's not throw all the seed oils out with the baby bathwater. Number 3 is fruit is bad because it's full of sugar. Okay, let me say this out loud for the people in the back. Fruit is not the enemy. The enemy is processed sugar, okay? Fruit is going to, yes, give you natural sugar, but at the same time, it's going to give you fiber, which is going to help with elimination and colon health and satiety and gut health and all the myriad of other benefits of fiber. It's got water, it's got vitamins, it's got minerals, it's got antioxidants. It supports your gut health. Do you know that an apple has the most well-rounded number of natural probiotics in any one food? I mean, it helps with brain function, helps with heart health. So fruit is not the problem. The problem is, for most people, is balancing blood sugar and making sure you're avoiding a lot of just empty calorie sugar that doesn't give you fiber. And if you are diabetic or you really are concerned about your blood sugar, you're seeing blood sugar spikes, you're wearing your, continuous glucose monitor, and you're seeing your blood sugar spike, you might want to check your stress level. Because stress has a tendency to spike blood sugar, sometimes even more than sugar itself. Just note that from experience. But add some protein or fat to your fruit, Have the apple with some nut butter. Have the banana with a handful of, cashews or almonds. We don't need to be scared of fruit. It's not the problem. Fruit juice, where you're taking all the fiber out, could be the problem. But whole fruit is not a problem. Eat the orange. I've been obsessed with Caracar oranges these days. I've been eating at least one a day. The vitamin C and all of the other benefits far outweigh any potential risk of overdoing the sugar. I read some crazy thing. I saw a reel about how this woman was talking about how half an apple could cause serious glucose spikes. I'm like, you must be having a serious issue or reaction if that's the case. And certainly if you are one of those people, there are ways to balance out by adding the fat or the protein. But don't get rid of fruit altogether. It's God's gift to us, and it's so darn good. So we don't need to do that. Myth number 4 is about chlorophyll water. Okay, I've been seeing this thing about how chlorophyll water clears your skin and makes you smell better. I mean, it sounds magical, and glowy skin and minty freshness is great, but I mean, it's not the whole truth. Okay, here's the truth. Chlorophyll is a wonderful thing to add to your diet. Okay, it's a green. It's got antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties. It is, full of live matter, which helps you overall in your health. But it's not going to necessarily replace your skincare or your deodorant, please. I do think that eating a clean diet helps you smell better, but if you're sweaty, we still want you to put on deodorant, please. Especially if you're getting on a bus or a train or you're in an office building with other human beings or even at the gym. Sometimes I get on the machines and I'm like, Lord have mercy. This person's sweat is so bad. And I gotta hold my breath and it's not fun. So just please do us a favor, get your greens, but still do the other things. Okay, thank you. On behalf of everybody in public. Myth number 5 is, and this was from a few years ago, but I still see it lingering, is celery juice is a cure-all. Okay, again, it's green, it's trendy, and the medical medium had his day where celery juice was everything, and you couldn't even buy celery because it was wiped out off the shelves. But the cure-all claims, I mean, super overstated. Celery juice is indeed hydrating and contains some minerals, not miracles, minerals. But there's zero scientific proof that it helps with chronic illness or balances your gut or any of the above. Eat the whole stalk. I mean, I wrote about it in my book. Like, I love celery. It's a great thing to eat. It's got, you know, lots of benefits, and the whole stalk has the fiber. When you juice it, it actually turns into a lot of sugar. So we want that celery. We want the nutrient-dense, fiber-rich benefits of celery. Just eat the celery. I mean, once you juice it, you're getting rid of over 95% of the plant. And unless you're going to use it for something else, I think that's a big waste. So let's eat the whole thing. And no, it's not the cure-all, but you need a balanced diet. So don't just eat the celery. Okay, you heard it from me. Number 6. Okay, trigger alert, trigger alert. Let me just take a deep breath. The carnivore diet. Okay. My number one pet peeve right now, seeing all these carnivore diet, protagonists in their own novel of health and wellness. It's not the healthiest way to eat. It really isn't. A meat-only diet, like, it's so counterintuitive. We're not lions. And science and long-term health markers are telling us that it is not a permanent way to eat. Taking out all vegetables, all fruit, all carbohydrates, and just focusing on meat and meat byproducts, like, it makes no logical sense. Plus, I'm going to just say it. It's very exclusionary of a lot of people's cultures. I mean, if you're from, the Middle East and you're eating a heavy carbohydrate diet full of beans and grains and vegetables and fruit, and you tell somebody only eat meat now, like, most people can't even afford to live that way. So, it's really exclusionary and I think very elitist in a sense. And we know that if you're going to eat meat, you should eat the grass-fed and finished free-range meat, and that is more expensive. I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying to build your whole diet around it really cuts out a big part of the population. The key here, what we want to really tune into, is getting quality. So definitely do the quality protein. But if you eliminate ultra processed foods, that is winning. I mean, that's a great start. And then add the sugar to that, the refined sugar products. But going completely carnivore cuts out essential fiber, which, by the way, eliminating once a week is not healthy. So for my ladies, I want you to know this in midlife, like, we need to have more than one bowel movement a week. Doctors say 3 times a day is what we should be shooting for, like after every meal, kind of like a baby, for all the mommies and daddies that have changed many, many diapers, your baby eats, your baby poops. So we got to keep our pipes clean. And the plant compounds in natural fiber-rich foods support your gut health, your heart health, your brain health, and long term, the nutrient imbalances and inflammation and chronic disease from a meat-only diet is real. So plants matter, period. End of story. Myth number 7 is you should never eat after 6 p.m. Okay. We know social media, especially TikTok, loves a strict rule because it's all about like these great hacks, right? But food timing isn't a one size fits all. What is real is that, yes, late night eating, especially when it's junk food and lots of sugar and eating that ice cream and cookies, can disrupt your digestion and sleep. And if you're overeating or eating really heavy, your metabolism is probably not going to digest everything it needs to because digestion is a metabolically very intensive activity. It doesn't just shut off at 6 p.m., right? But neither does your metabolism. So it's really about what you're eating. If you're a person with a fast metabolism, you know that if you stop eating at a certain time and then try and go to bed 4 hours later, you're going to wake up because your stomach's going to be grumbling. So eat something that's fiber rich, get some good protein, get a little fat in there, and that should help satiate you in the evening. But let's watch out for the ultra processed, heavy, sugary foods. That might not really suit a good digestion, but I'm all about taking a great enzyme. I don't know about you, but enzymes save me most of the time. So if you do need a little bit of help with digestion and getting your food metabolized, consider taking an enzyme. And I've got a link to my favorite one in the show notes here. Myth number 8. This is interesting. You might not realize this, but frozen foods, like frozen fruits and veggies specifically, are just as nutritious as fresh, if not sometimes more nutritious. I know this is kind of shocking, but social media would have you thinking that frozen fruits and veggies are less nutritious. And it's kind of a myth. And here's what I learned after 15 years of living in the fresh produce world is that frozen produce is often flash frozen at peak ripeness. So that locks in nutrients and it makes sure you're getting the benefit of that peak ripeness and flavor. So it can even be more nutritious than fresh produce that's been sitting on a dock for 3 or 4 days and then in transit for 2 weeks, and then sitting on your store shelf for another week. And this is what happens, especially, I don't know if you knew this, but apples can sit in cold storage for 8 to 10 months before they reach your store. So imagine eating a 10-month-old apple. I mean, what does that have in it, right? So keep your freezer stocked. It's a great budget-friendly nutrition hack, and it's not something that you need to be scared of or think, oh, well, I'm not getting the benefit of my nutrients this way. You actually are. And I'm a big fan of keeping frozen berries in the freezer, frozen mango, some frozen greens to drop into a soup. I mean, you can't always find what you want super fresh anyways, even though I'm a huge fan of the farmer's market. So the backup and sometimes the front burner option is frozen. Myth number 9. You need to drink a gallon of water a day, every day. Okay. It sounds simple and motivational. A gallon a day keeps the toxins away, but is it really necessary? Well, you get hydration from a number of different places. You can get it from drinking, a green tea. You can get it from eating your celery. You can get it from any fruits and vegetables. You get a large amount of water. I mean, watermelon is almost all water. So yes, hydration matters, but your needs vary by your body size, your weight, your activity, your climate, your diet, all the other things. So forcing a gallon of water into your body can actually flush out electrolytes and leave you feeling off balance. So instead, I like to encourage you to drink consistently throughout the day. And if you are super active or it's hot out and you find that you're just like parched constantly, add an electrolyte to your water, and that will help you properly absorb the water into your cells, which is really where the hydration is required. You need it in your cellular, structure in order to keep all of your activities rolling. That's where cell health is so important. We don't want to dehydrate our bodies by dehydrating our cells. And watch out for your pee. If your pee is a pale yellow, then you're doing the right thing. And no, if you've just taken a multivitamin, it may not be pale yellow because you may be flushing those vitamins out. But eating hydrating foods, other drinks can also help to supplement your hydration goals. So watch out for all those things. And then last but not least, myth number 10. Now, I subscribed to this myth for a long time, and I apologize to anybody who I spoke this to because I kind of didn't represent it right. And I think sometimes we have to come out clean and just talk about it, right? But here's the myth that alkaline foods can change your body's pH. You can't really change your body's pH with food. Drinking alkaline water and doing an alkaline diet isn't the only. Let me just say that it's not the way to change your body's pH. What it does is it changes your body's ability to be healthy, right? You want to feed your body the right things. You want to watch out for inflammation. So eating maybe a lot of heavy dairy or fried foods or a lot of sugar can make your body more inflammatory. So it's not really about the pH. Your body regulates your blood pH. You want to encourage, though, a healthier body with alkaline foods. So let's think about it more like that. Let's not think that we're making our body more alkaline. We're making our body healthier and lowering inflammation. That's really the true situation here. So, eat the leafy greens, eat the fruits, eat the veggies. They're all great for you. But because they're packed with nutrients, not because of their pH. So that's the diff. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you walked away with some real rational reasoning for why a lot of the time these TikTok and social media strategies for perfect health that seem like a quick fix or seem kind of, confusing usually don't work. We don't want a 15-second video from, pardon me, but someone with no health background to override your common sense or your body's wisdom. So be curious always and question boldly, but always nourish yourself with balance and not extremes. And that is the goal, my friends. Let's focus on what we want to do well. So hopefully this episode cleared the confusion for you. If it did, would you share it with a friend who's been sucked into the TikTok rabbit hole? And DM me if there's a myth you want me to bust next. I'm here for it. Until next time, remember, eat like you give a fork. I'll see you real soon.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal health advice. We are not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast. This podcast is not intended to replace professional medical advice, and the views expressed in this podcast may not be those of the host or the management. Hey, it's Chef Moran. Thank you so much for tuning into The Real Dish. It means a lot to me that you're here. I hope today's episode has inspired you to take some proactive steps towards a healthier and happier you. Because just remember, bite-sized changes can lead to big transformations. But before you go, would you do me a big favor? If you found value in this episode, would you share it with 2 of your closest friends and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode? And if you really want to make this girl's day, would you leave a 5-star review? I do hear an angel gets its wings every time you do that. But really, this helps us spread the message of real life wellness to even more listeners. And everybody could use a healthy portion of that, right? Now, until next time, remember, you are the chef of your own kitchen. So feed your life well, make good decisions, prioritize your well-being, and remember, you need to take care of you because we only get one of you and you are a gift to everyone around you. So until next week, this is Chef Maria signing off. And just remember, we're here to cook up a good time every single week. We'll see you soon.